Today, the carrion birds feast, but they will feast upon our enemies, not on good Roman flesh!
Good evening, this is The Nerd is the Human, and welcome to this time-lapse for Rome Remastered. And you join me at 215 BC, not too far into the game, but this is the pivotal moment here where Spain took on Rome. They brought their stacks along and they didn't quite take it. They besieged it twice, and in the end, whilst they did manage to defeat the Julii, and whilst Rome would eventually fall kind of randomly, I think the family just died out, it would leave the path open for the Brutii, who would avenge their Julii brethren and eventually take over much of the map. This was so close. I was rooting for the Spanish so much, but alas, they didn't manage to do it. It was very sad indeed. I should point out that this is completely vanilla Rome Remastered. I haven't done any of my modding on this occasion, which makes it even more remarkable that the Seleucids not only survived, but thrived, taking over huge chunks of what's traditionally Egyptian expansion zone. But whilst the Egyptians didn't quite die, the Seleucids were certainly thriving, except for the fact that they seemed to run out of ideas eventually. You can see lots of armies just hanging around. The only job they had was to try to take the completely consistently rebelling Bostra, which I am not exaggerating when I say every time they took it, it would rebel back 2 turns later. Every time, without fail. It was ridiculous. Petra was never even taken as a result, and basically once they killed Armenia, there was nothing else for them to do. They seemed to have picked up good diplomatic relations, and sadly that meant that whilst they had an excellent push for victory here, they never really followed through, and that left the path open for the Romans. The summer of 74 BC is where the time-lapse would end, with pretty much a Roman dominance clearly established across the map. But there was a clear civil war between the Brutii and the Scipioni, with the Brutii taking over all of the Peloponnese, which was previously Scipioni. But you'll notice that Rome never did fall. Indeed, the Brutii would try a couple times, and actually they had 7 full stacks lined up here at one stage, only to walk off north and finish off the Britons, or at least in continental Europe anyway. No, they would never really try and complete it. And to be honest, for the last 30 years or so, whilst the Brutii would continue to expand, it was quite slow, and the other factions were pretty much accepting their fate. So congratulations to the likes of Greece, who are still alive, Egypt, Carthage, Britons, and actually Numidia, by the way, who are down here, achieving very little apart from survival, and I'll congratulate them for that. But ultimately, we can only really give victory to the Roman Brutii. Indeed, the world will be ruled under a Brutii fist. So with that, I will leave you. Do, of course, leave comments down below for future suggestions. I think this is the first time-lapse I've done for Rome Remastered. It's nice to play around with this. The maps are definitely an excellent feature of this, and so, you know, it's fun to play around with the time-lapse on here. Certainly some advantages and disadvantages to doing it this way, but I'd be intrigued to see what the differences are with the AI. I felt like, yes, Seleucid's doing so well is unusual. Maybe it was just a quirk of this particular run through, but we will see with some future time lapses. For now, I will leave you. I'm Thomas, this is To Nerd Is To Human, and this has been a time lapse for Rome Remastered. Thank you, and bye-bye. They're all queuing up to fight them. These are truly the British rebels right here. War cry and charge at the dogs of... Oh, they're routing again. What are you doing, my silly trumpet? They're actually taking on my reinforcements. Welcome to the Rebel Experience, ladies and gents.